For decades, the standard scientific story for how we got here starts on a cooling, entirely sterile rock. Eventually, a primordial soup of chemicals, sparked by lightning or volcanic heat, spontaneously arranged itself into the first living cells. But the timeline of that entire story is remarkably compressed. Life appears in the fossil record shortly after Earth's crust cooled enough for liquid water, leaving a very narrow window for complex biology to randomly assemble from scratch. This tight window fuels an alternative hypothesis called panspermia, derived from the Greek words for all seeds. Instead of life spontaneously generating in Earth's oceans, this theory suggests life was delivered here from somewhere else. It is a concept that flips our understanding of biological history. If panspermia is true, it forces us to ask a strange question. Is every living thing on this planet actually alien to the Earth itself? The idea has deep roots. In 1871, physicist Lord Kelvin argued that space was full of seed-bearing meteorites, raining life down on barren planets. At the time, other scientists tore the idea apart. Space is an airless, freezing vacuum saturated with lethal ultraviolet and gamma radiation. Any biological matter exposed to it would quickly be ripped to shreds. And even if a microbe somehow survived the journey, it would still have to ride a meteorite through Earth's atmosphere, a trip that generates so much friction and heat it melts solid rock. To move this idea out of the realm of science fiction, researchers realized they had to prove that biological matter could survive the actual physical conditions of deep space. The first step to proving this hypothesis is finding out if the raw chemical ingredients for life even exist in deep space. The answer arrived on September 28, 1969. A bright orange fireball tore through the night sky over Victoria, Australia, shattering with a sonic boom and scattering debris across the town of Murchison. When geologists analyzed these charcoal-like fragments, they found an astonishing payload. The rock contained more than 90 different amino acids and over 14,000 molecular combinations. This definitively proved a concept known as Pseudo-Panspermia. We now know for a fact that the universe actively churns out the chemical blueprints for life and freely delivers them to planetary surfaces. Delivering raw chemicals is one thing, but could a fully functional, living organism survive a multi-year trip through the solar system? To find out if this is possible, astrobiologists turned to the International Space Station. Over several years, astronauts mounted panels of bacteria outside the station, intentionally locking them out in the vacuum. One key experiment run by Japan's space agency tested a specific extremophile bacteria called Deinococcus radiodurans, leaving it exposed to direct, unfiltered cosmic radiation for 3 full years. The bacteria survive by traveling in tight clumps. The outermost cells absorb lethal cosmic radiation and die, forming a physical shield. For radiation that penetrates this dead shell, inner cells carry up to 10 redundant DNA copies, allowing them to rapidly repair broken genetic sequences. Based on these cellular defense mechanisms, researchers calculate that exposed clumps of microscopic life could easily survive a 3 to 8 year interplanetary journey. The transit is, in fact, biologically possible. But surviving the quiet vacuum of space is only the middle of the journey. The physical mechanics of departing and arriving are much more violent. Critics note that to transfer from Mars to Earth, a microbe has to survive the massive kinetic shock of ejection, millions of years adrift, and the fiery forces of re-entry. Because of this, the current scientific consensus remains split. We know microbes can handle the vacuum, but until we can prove they survive the sheer physical trauma of planetary impact, panspermia remains a heavily debated French theory. There is also a major philosophical limit to this theory. Even if you map out every mechanical step of the journey, panspermia fails to explain how non-living chemicals first sparked into living biology. The theory merely relocates the origin of life to an unknown distant planet, pushing the same mystery into a different corner of the galaxy. Even if the theory only relocates the origin, proving the transit is possible suggests life is a hardy, transmissible feature of the cosmos, shifting our focus from Earth-based origins to a much broader galactic scale. The possibility of this biological transit dictates how modern space agencies design their exploratory missions today. Because microbes are so incredibly tough, NASA enforces strict planetary protection protocols. Before a rover ever leaves Earth, it is baked at high temperatures and chemically scrubbed in extreme cleanrooms to prevent cross-contamination. If we happen to scoop up a living microbe on the surface of Mars, we absolutely have to know if it evolved there natively, or if it was a stowaway on our own spacecraft. Finding extraterrestrial microbes with a genetic code identical to ours would leave only one logical conclusion. Life on Earth didn't start here, making every living thing on this planet the descendant of a cosmic hitchhiker.